Good morning, St. Lucia. For those of you who are here on island, those in the diaspora, and of course, those of you in the wider world, thank you so much for joining us here live in the studios of the National Television Network. I am Lucia Joseph alongside Humadi Mark. It is Thursday, it's the 21st of October. And as we indicated to you yesterday, if you had joined us, today is International Credit Union Day. And we want to say good morning to Herma. Good morning, how are you feeling this morning?
Good morning, Lisa. Good morning.
You look very blue today.
we almost got it right today. We almost got it right today. I'm doing very well. It's Thursday. We're, creeping. I feel like this week went by quickly, so I can't even say creeping, but we're making it towards the end of the weekend. Like we've been saying, October has so much to celebrate, to commemorate. There are so many things that we've been sharing.
Right. Moi toute sauce.
Octobre, c'est moi toute sauce.
That's right.
All right. And we, of course, continue to bring you the information that you need. We want to say, of course, thank you for always joining us on a morning. And you can do so via our Facebook and YouTube pages as well. Lisa, are we going through COVID numbers?
Let's go through the COVID numbers quickly and let's see the progress that we've been making. And to remind the St. Lucians that the vaccination sites are available yet again today.
All right, so definitely we could do that for you. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs confirmed 33 new cases. That's yesterday from the Ezra Long Laboratory. So that samples processed at the Ezra Long Laboratory, 193 samples. That is a positivity rate of 17.1%. We also had confirmation of 68 individuals diagnosed with COVID-19 recovering. So that brings our active cases in country to 467, which is always good news to hear people recovering. Currently, there are 7 individuals who are severely ill at the respiratory hospital. If you're looking to get vaccinated, I can remind you, or rather let me remind you of the vaccination sites that you could visit today. The VA4 Parish Hall and COTS Unicoma at Marisol Grosley. That's a Grosley branch. You could get vaccinated there today. Vaccine will also be distributed at People's Discount Drugstore on St. Louis Street, Castries, but that is by appointment only. So you could give them a call and see if there is any availability for you today. In addition to that, vaccinations are scheduled at all sites between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. So if you are looking to get vaccinated, these are the sites that you visit. Now, like we've mentioned, October c'est moi toute sauce, and Lisa's ensuring that we put that little bit of Creole in there, given Creole Heritage Month is one of our celebrations within the month of October. Not to mention we have quite a few birthdays, some great birthdays to celebrate, but we shall leave that alone.
For now.
For now. October also being financial information awareness month, and International Credit Union Day being today. Joining us on set to give us all the tidbits that we need, all the financial literacy. Hopefully he's going to be sharing some tips with us, as well as the importance of credit unions to our society. As president of the St. Lucia Workers Credit Union Limited, Peter Lewis is joining us on set today. So let me say good morning to you, Mr. Lewis, and how are you doing today?
Pleasant good morning to you, and also to you, Lisa. Nice to see you. I've not seen Lisa in a while. I'm happy to be here. And let me take the opportunity to wish all corporators, meaning all persons who are members of credit unions, happy International Credit Union Day. And this year is the 73rd edition of that celebration. And it goes under the theme, Building Financial Health for a Brighter Tomorrow. And it is something that is that all of us are concerned about. I mean, not just the global pandemic, but how will we cope should we, for some reason, not have to be at work? How can we provide the necessities to make our life easier in terms of our living conveniences? And down the line, for those of us who have kids, how do we provide for them? And what kind of future do we shape in terms of management of our financial resources and so forth? And so we at St. Lucia Workers Credit Union, we continue to push forward services for our members Most recently, we launched our international debit card, which we're doing in partnership with Bank of St. Lucia Limited, and that has received quite a bit of success considering the needs now of the framework we're operating in with COVID-19 and so forth. So now persons can transact more than just online, but now they can use their international debit card, and we have a little feature with it. It is, you just tap and go. So you could, from the coffee shop to the supermarket, you just
tap and go.
Making it very, very convenient. But Vita, we started with the COVID numbers, and it will be remiss of us for us not to discuss the impact that COVID has had on the credit union sector. For the credit union as a sort of business and as a community partner, give us an understanding of how COVID impacted you and your operations.
Well, initially, I must tell you that, we have two prevailing schools of thought. My mind goes to the legendary Calypsonian, the Living Chassis, who had a song saying, "Nothing is with business until it reaches crisis." And then I was at a credit union conference in the early 2000s, and Honorable Ralph Gonzalez said, a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And when you think about it, COVID-19 did present challenges for us in terms of financially. We had several people who had lost incomes. Some had lost jobs. Some who were self-employed, whether it be taxi drivers, bus drivers, entrepreneurs who saw reductions in their business or even the closure of their businesses. And so that affected significantly our loans portfolio. But being a community-based organization and a member-centric organization, we did bring members in. We did start off moratoriums. We started off long before the banks, actually, and where we were pretty much telling people, understandably, with the pandemic on, for the next 3 months to 6 months, we are not going to charge any interest on your loan, and you are not obliged to pay these loans. And that was in an effort to help people recover. Even to that, some people who had loans where the repayment was now very difficult because of the reduced income, we did loan restructuring. So let's say you were paying $500, you would come in and we'd adjust it, and now you'd pay about maybe $250, $300. But all in an effort to create the means for our members to be able to breathe. Because you can admit, when you are under any form of financial pressure, it can make everything so miserable. And our members are thankful for it. We're now seeing the country reopen and businesses are starting back up and they are honoring their commitment. So it is slowly coming back. So what we've recognized in 2021 is a re-establishment of our baseline. Because as people go back to work and they can recommit to their loans, and they can also engage in more business with the organization. Hence the reason why we push for the international debit card with the issue of social distancing and persons to reduce the footprint in our branches, because we have a branch at Gable Woods Mall and one on Bourbon Street, to reduce the number of persons within that space. The international debit card helps because now persons who are doing smaller transactions can use the online platform, which is another service that we have. We have a mobile app, and you can go online and do transfers, and with your international debit card, you can do transactions.
And so, you were speaking, and I'm thinking that COVID, and it has revealed so much about how we live, how we work, and so forth, that it would seem that COVID has also re-established, reinforced the principle upon which the credit union movement was built on.
Lisa, I tell you, you understand why I missed her. Yes. Lisa and I go way back. And if there's anything that we know for a fact, the credit union was on the basis of put aside for tomorrow. And so that is why the theme for this year is so apt, considering COVID and so forth. I mean, building a financial, health for a brighter tomorrow. So the whole point is that we need to put aside, and the credit union was very much founded on the principle of saving. And it is out of that saving that if all of us save and we pull our funds together, then now if you, Ms. DeMarc, would need a loan, in that same pool, you can now take a loan and you pay back. So each time with that kind of behavior, the pool grows. The beautiful thing about all the credit unions around the island, and I want to take the opportunity to reach all corporators from all of our 16 credit unions in St. Lucia, and we do have 16. I mean, you have Maria Valley, you have civil service, you have police and allied workers, you have teachers credit union, you have the Monrepo credit union, you have you also have the Labrie credit union, you have Schwazel, you have Saltibus, you have the West Coast credit union, you have Hospitality credit union, you have National Farmers and General Workers credit union, and you have our credit union, which is St. Lucia Workers Credit Union Limited. And all of us are working. There's also the Seventh-day Adventist Credit Union. I must mention them. They're small, but they're worth mention. And you have the umbrella body, which is the St. Lucia Cooperative League. And all of us, the City of Elks Credit Union, I don't want to leave them out because they're...
Janou?
Well, yes, Janou, and then I said civil service, but the branded name is Janou. Thank you so very much for that, Lisa. So the whole point is to encourage St. Lucians to save. And the beautiful thing is what we found out is that we now have 117,000 members across the island. So that's a market penetration of about 63%. Then we have a combined asset value, wait for it, of 1.2 billion EC dollars. So that means that sector is contributing substantially to our financial services. And in some areas, we are providing banking services where no bank exists. In Schwazel, there is no bank. In Labrie, there is no bank there. Monrepo services, Micoud and so forth, there is no presence of any real bank or banking facility. But these credit unions provide that. And now you have even the Force-Jacques Credit Union. I don't want to leave them out. They're up in Force-Jacques. And if you know how Soufre is, you have Soufre proper, you have Force-Jacques. And so it helps that persons, ordinary St. Lucians, have access to their resources.
And one of the things that you hear a lot about credit unions and speaking about financial health is the fact that it tends to be more beneficial to an individual to be a member of a credit union as opposed to the other financial models. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Indeed, I can speak to that. The argument is sound, and we as credit union, we stand on that. It's one of our marketing tools, and it is the truth. Because in a credit union, you are part owner, whereas in a bank, you are simply a customer.
So what does that mean to the individual?
Okay, it means two things to the individual. One, it means that every single individual has a say in terms of directing where the organization goes. Every single individual has an opportunity to serve on committees that will dictate how the organization develops. And further to that, it means, therefore, all persons who are members benefit from the growth and development of the organization through, be it patronage refund, be it not just the payment of interest on savings, but also the payment of dividends based on when the organization makes a profit. They also benefit from things like scholarship programs. They benefit from other products that may come on, which would see a reduction in terms of charges. Because generally, when you do financial transactions, they're always loaded with charges when you deal with the formal financial sector, I mean, in terms of banking and so forth. So with a credit union, your membership is so valued that you have several avenues available to you. So you pay a loan, you pay your loan, and at the end of the year, the organization, after doing its audit and so forth at AGM, makes a declaration of dividends. Because now it has made a certain profit after meeting all its commitments, and that is passed on back to the membership. I don't know, I've never heard of any bank giving back their customers a little something on your account apart from the interest. And mind you, they're benefiting from interest as well, which in most cases they're getting paid probably every 6 months. So it is a model of people helping people. And we also have with us CUNA. I don't want to forget CUNA, because CUNA is an insurance organization which is attached to the credit unions. And one of the products that CUNA offers is the FIP, what is called a Family Indemnity Plan. And that is a unique plan because it is in times of grief that we really need financial relief. The purchase of a coffin and preparing for a funeral is an arduous task. And so what you can do is that you could take up a CUNA policy, and there are ranges of policies that you could pay in monthly, and should you lose a family member as listed as in your policy, the credit union would pay you the value of that policy. So whether it be 15,000, 30, 20,000. But what's more beautiful about that is because of the communal aspect, all you have to do is show proof of the person having passed away, meaning the registration of death, so you don't have to necessarily wait till the death certificate. And that is important because it is at that point in time when the family needs resources to mobilize and so forth. So we are catering.
So you're trying to lessen on the red tape.
Indeed. Not just lessen on the red tape, but it is the benefit of membership. Because you are a member, we know you. This is home. So again, going back to the concept of us pooling our resources together, and now CUNA being a partner to that, provides that insurance service that we are able to help our members with. Many of them have paid FIP for several years, and when the time comes to get it, they're even surprised. They're like, oh, that's how it works? So yeah, your check. And
that's it.
And we're very sorry for your loss. But even then, that helps to cushion the blow, because after losing a loved one, it's even worse when you now have to deal with financial pressures.
Yes. So is there an age limit to joining a credit union? When can you start? Talk to people about how they can benefit from that.
Okay, now, so I don't want to come off as a tease, because I'm saying all of this and I'm not giving the how-do. Okay, once you are 18 years of age, as a Lucian, you have 2 pieces of ID, and you are willing to invest and become a member of a credit union, you can walk into and sign up for membership. We also have kids accounts. So adults who happen to be members of credit unions, from very young, they're teaching their children how to save, how to build towards that brighter tomorrow. And so we have kids accounts. We call ours the Young Dreamers account. In other credit unions, they have different names for them, but they're the children's accounts. And so the kids now are saving, and then they will get to a point where the parent will now pass on that account to them. So once you're saying, Lucian, you have 2 pieces of ID and you're willing to invest, you can walk in and you can become a member.
Right. Very simple, Homa.
Very simple indeed. You've given us so much information based on how credit unions are contributing to, St. Lucia's financial standing, and all the benefits as a member that you can derive from a credit union. But you still hear of some of the challenges faced by credit unions. Can you highlight some of those challenges?
Well, invariably, the nature of business is that it's not smooth sailing. Even us in our family setting, not everybody in the family is on the same page at the same time. And we do know that we have occasions where persons may not necessarily meet their commitments to the organization. But what's different and what we encourage is to come to your credit union, speak to your credit union. Let them know if you're facing particular difficulties. Let us see if we can revise your arrangement. Let us see what can be done to really shore up and strengthen you so that you can be on a better footing. So that's one of the challenges. Some of the other challenges would be that of regulation, because, we have no real power where regulation is concerned. We've had amendments to the Financial Services Act. You have things like FATCA. Now you have the International Financial Reporting Standards 9. These are taking resources from the credit union to meet particular standards. I am happy, though, to comment that most of our credit unions are striving and are reaching the benchmark where that is concerned. So that is on the regulatory side. But generally, in terms of business and our people, it is really people being more focused on the credit union and seeing it as part of their life and not necessarily as a final stop. So oh gosh, I'm in a situation there, hope I run to the credit union. No, the credit union is supposed to be part of your plan. So on a monthly basis, you make a contribution to your credit union towards the realization of a particular goal, whether it be to go study, whether it is to build a house, purchase a car, and so forth. So that is what we are encouraging, more interaction with the credit unions. Almost all credit unions now have websites, so it is easy to get information, and we are all online, and the lines of communication are open.
You mentioned the regulations. I remember something like 5 to 7 years ago, there was quite a bit of disturbance happening within the credit union cooperative movement, where the regulations, and there was a lot of concern as to whether having to be or lumped into the financial services sector like a bank, that it would somehow impact how the credit unions operate. How has it been since the regulations coming into force? Some of the requirements perhaps forcing you, as you say, resources now to dedicate to that. Is any of that impacting on your operations in terms of how you now pass on cost, if you do at all, to members? Generally,
as a community-based people helping people organization, we will always seek to minimize the effect that any kind of transaction or change will have on our members. And so we have been able to go through in stages of fulfilling these requirements and meeting up to these standards without negatively impacting on our membership, meaning without raising their interest on their loans, without increasing fees on them and so forth. But what it is we wanted more than anything in terms of review of these legislation was for people to recognize that credit unions play a far deeper role more than just the financial services. I mean, we are taking care of our communities. We at Workers Credit Union, on Monday, we had a food drive, and we had 100 meals on Monday. I know several other credit unions are doing several other things in their communities, by way of scholarships to schools, by way of sponsorships to sports organizations and so forth. And because we are affecting the community in a more holistic sense, we were expecting very much for governments to really recognize that factor and not necessarily be as stringent as a profit-driven entity seeking to make on all ends of the transaction.
So you need more protection?
Collaboration, I would like to say. Collaboration, not necessarily protection, because we represent a sizable amount of people. I mean, 117,000 people, 63% of the population being members of credit union. It speaks volumes in terms of who we represent. And I think we wanted government to be cognizant of that and to react based on that fact.
We're speaking with Peter Lewis, and we're discussing International Credit Union Day. Stay with us. We'll talk about the benefits, some of the suites of services that are available to you within the credit union movement. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
We are working parents,
and we breastfed both babies exclusively.
Moi fais 6 chiches, moi ba yo tout tété qui yo tout ni bon cervelle.
Mother's breast milk is naturally the best milk for baby. Love yourself and love your baby.
We were breastfed and we are healthy.
Breastfeeding saves me money and it's free.
Every moment I breastfeed strengthens the bond between me and my baby.
I breastfed twin boys and lost all my baby fat.
We were breastfed
and we have breast milk power.
I am Pastor Alvin and I support breastfeeding.
For more information, call the Nutrition Unit of the Ministry of Health and Wellness at 468-5359.
Thank you for staying with us. And before we went to break, we're going to discuss what's available to someone becoming a member of a credit union. Because everybody wants to know, what can I get?
Okay. Well, there's quite a bit of goodies in the bag when you become a member of the credit union. Of course, first of all, you benefit from the standard savings facilities. We have deposits, we have permanent shares, which is your equity in the organization. And we also have online services, which you can be a part of. So you could apply for your loan online. We also have our amortization calculators on our website. So you could get a fair idea once you know the interest rate, you know how much you want. You could start to do your business from a distance. You could benefit as well from the payment of dividends based on the profits that the organization makes annually. You benefit as well from preferred interest rates based on the type of loan you are taking. You can also benefit from scholarship programs which are in place for children of members. You can also benefit from the family indemnity plan, which is available only through credit unions and through CUNA Insurance. Further to that, members have a very unique opportunity, Lisa. I am the president of St. Lucia Workers Credit Union, and I can say that I am the president because St. Lucia Workers Credit Union has invested in me over time that I can occupy that particular office. We train our members at no cost to themselves. We train them. They are exposed to financial education through seminars, through workshops, through even overseas exchanges, conferences, and so forth. And so we are building the knowledge base to continue to run the organization. So it is a voluntary-based organization. I don't get paid to be the president. However, the benefit that I have received from being exposed to all of this training and conferencing and networking with other colleagues in the sector has helped me develop myself tremendously. I mean, I wouldn't, myself 10 years ago, would look at the person I am now and go like, oh, that's you. So the value proposition is that you are becoming part of an organization which not only has a good future and is building, continually growing, but it has a heart.
And it's taking you along with it.
Yes, and it's taking you along with it. So in the end, both the organization and the individuals who are part of it are going to develop and become better in the end.
Nice. The concept of financial health, I think, is really interesting because when people look at finances and they look at, building a future or working towards a future, some people may think it's as easy as, saving when you can. But if you were to suggest, maybe from your perspective, a model that would assist people in building a secure financial future, what would it be?
Ms. DeMark, that's such a beautiful question. And it reminds me of something we did this week. This week, one of our directors, and I want to shout out all of my directors at St. Lucia Workers Credit Union because it is the 9 of us that pulled together to run the organization. I'm the face as the president, but I have 8 other colleagues who are very much in tune with what we're doing. And one of our directors, I'll put him on the spot, Mr. Lindell Holiday, he hosted a Zoom conference earlier this week because we have a week of activities, and he spoke to the idea of looking at what it is you make and prioritizing. So a certain amount go to bills, a certain amount go to other expenses, but you prioritize to the extent where you say, I am putting X aside in preparation for 1, a purchase of a vehicle, a purchase of a piece of land, the possible investment in property, or the possible investment in a business towards entrepreneurship. So the idea that because we are such established financial entities, many people can now, through salary deduction, transfer an amount to us, so then you don't have access to it, and save that amount over time. It's funny because $100 a month equals $1,200 a year. You do that over 5 years, and you see where we're going. We're at $6,000. So imagine that's just $100 a month. So if people can now discipline themselves, because it takes a certain level of financial discipline. And the good thing about the credit union is that you could sit down, you could call in to one of our officers, our member services officers, and we can design a plan where you can save towards making certain things happen, and knowing you have the backing of an organization to assist you when the time comes.
I know you talk about you have the kiddies plan and so forth, but what is your outreach that you do? And just to piggyback alongside what Herma is saying, to get our citizens from tots really conscious about money management.
Now that's where I'm going again, when earlier I shouted out all of our different credit unions. And the beautiful thing about it is when you have an organization like the Teachers Credit Union, and they're very much in the schools, so you have kiddie corps starting off in the very schools, and really starting to get kids into the habit of saving, and not necessarily always buying a lollipop with the extra 25 cents or trying to get a nice lolly. While all of these things are important, but kids need to understand that if you want to buy a particular toy, you want to buy that PS4, and you know, well, boy, if I wash my father's car, he will give me, he'll give me X, and I put it aside. So these kind of little habits. But for us at Workers Credit Union, we are blessed, and we continue to use very much the virtual landscape now as it's COVID, and we send out a lot of information to our members. It is very good because now you can use the mobile platform and so forth and continue to feed our members with information that way. Our website, we try to keep it as updated and as refreshed, full with information there as well. And also, we seek to meet our members where they are. So a lot of our onboarding takes place sometimes in certain organizations, and we are pleased to partner with organizations like Massey, Peter and Company Distribution and so forth, formerly Courts, now Unicoma. And we had a real presence in terms of a lot of their staff who have become members over the years. We were actually there in their onboarding to encourage them to become members, and they've benefited thus far. So these are some of the avenues that we use to bring people on.
Nice. You mentioned the session for financial literacy that you held, also that you have a series of activities for the week going on. Tell us a little bit about the week, and have you celebrated, and are there any activities coming up?
Oh, well, boy, every time it is International Credit Union Day and Financial Month, it is a busy time for people who are in cooperatives when you're at any level. And the beautiful thing is, Monday, we had a workshop on turning your passion into cash. How do you manage through that? And then we had the other one in terms of managing your finances. And last evening we had one on digitization and the value of digitization and the use of online and debit cards and all of that. And also yesterday we had what is called the Caribbean Development Educators Forum, where persons who had done the Caribbean Development Educators Program, we were all at Kubaril at the Mount of Prayer, the sisters, and we reviewed the financial services regulatory authorities report on credit unions. The Minister for Cooperatives, Honorable Emma Hippolyte, was there, and we had a very, very nice occasion of discussion and information. And I know from my credit union standpoint, we're having a financial cocktail, a Zoom financial cocktail for Friday.
Oh, that's going to work.
We used to do it in person. We used to do it in person, but now we're using the technology and we're getting into that. And it's all part of keeping our members engaged, reaching out towards new members and making persons understand the value of investing time and effort in our finances, managing our businesses, giving ourselves the opportunity to volunteer and develop towards developing not only ourselves, our families, our country, and the world. Because credit unions operate worldwide. There's the Caribbean Conference on Credit Unions, and we have the World Council on Credit Unions. And so if you think credit union is a big thing in the Caribbean, wait till you see how big it is in Europe. Wait till you see how big it is in Africa or even the US. So we know we have something of value, and we are continuing to work at it. And so So, and I also mentioned Monday we had our community, our corporate social responsibility activity in terms of feeding the less fortunate and indigent in our society. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
I'm still stuck on that Zoom cocktail, Peter, because I am just. So what?
Bring your own cocktail.
Bring your own cocktail.
No. I didn't say that. No.
Are you doing deliveries to the home, Peter?
You're getting there. So the concept is this, and you're going to get your package before, and your package are going to have all your knickknacks and your goodies and so forth, and we're all going to be on the Zoom platform. So everybody's going to have their camera turned on. We're going to talk. I'm thinking of what color I'm going to wear, whether I'm going to wear a hat or not, because you're in the comforts of home, because we're not breaking curfew. We're all doing everything legal. We're within the law. And so what's going to happen, we're going to have a conversation. We're going to talk finance. We're going to share with people where the organization is at. What do we envision for the future? And we're going to open up our packages, and during the conversation, we are going to partake.
Yes.
It does have a little bit of a regal element.
Yes, it does. I must say.
So Lisa,
Homer, I'm just wondering.
You'll be calling in.
We need that link.
You could call our credit union should you choose to be a member and you want to be a part of these exciting things going on in the future. And you could get us at 453-2706, or you could
see how he slips that in. Yes. See how he slips it in.
You could also go to Google and you could just type in St. Lucia Workers Credit Union Limited, and you could get that hyperlink to our website and let us talk.
Yeah, I agree. Now, you were talking about turning the passion into cash.
Indeed.
And I gave Homer the side eye.
I paid attention
you caught that?
Yes, I got that.
Very talented young lady. All Scorpios are talented. And Homer is into design, jewelry, clothes, bags, you name it. Homer does it.
I'm the place. I'm at the place.
So this will be interesting for Homer now to have conversations, because for young people like Homer, and they want to be able to start off a business, how do they engage the credit union on that level?
Okay. Remember, I did speak to us running programs to teach and develop our various levels of membership. But we have a special affinity. We care for all of our members. We did something a few years ago which was so beautiful before COVID, and it's a pity we are now in a pandemic and we can't do it. For our older members, meaning our members 60 and over, we had a luncheon ceremony for them, and we had this buffet set up with a chef, and the tables were set up on the middle floor of our building because we do have space for that. And when they entered, Lisa, they were treated to a little foot massage and a little dip. Yes. And then they go in, they sat, they had lunch, they interacted and so forth. And it was a way of giving back, because these are some of the founding members. These were some of the people who had served on boards and committees, and some of our older members. And that was a very beautiful thing. Further to that, we had a youth forum where young persons, our 18 to about 30 age range, that we sat them down and we said, hey, you want a future for yourself, you want to do X, Y, and Z, this is probably the saving plan you should follow. If you're looking at entrepreneurship, try to save up to X level, then you come sit with us, let us talk, let us see how we can assist. And so these are the kind of activities we engage in. During the summer, we would have a summer program for the youth, that the kids from about 5 years old, and they spend the day and their parents leave them with us, and we return them to their parents, well fed, excited, and on days filled with activities, from visiting sites, from being on the tree, which is something all the kids love. They really love that activity. So we are seeking to touch as much. But in terms of financial literacy for young people, we are consistently engaging them. We are now using the technology to communicate to them. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the Education Committee hasn't already written it, that they're wanting to have their own new forum. So these are the different ways. But the difference I want to point out, and for somebody like you, Huma, is that the credit union is a personal touch. So you have the unique ability now to call on your credit union to speak to what it is your pursuit is.
It sounds like
and
that.
How can we assist you in achieving that?
Yeah, from just listening to you speak, it sounds like I have a question. I could just call somebody and say, hey, I'm thinking about this. How can we work together and make it happen?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, Huma, I'm giving you the eye again, but that's okay. We'll have that discussion off camera. but most importantly, Peter, where do you see the credit union? Let's look at the movement first. How much more can the movement locally grow? And give us an idea, don't reveal too many of your secrets, but where would you like to see your own credit union be in the next, say, 5 years?
Well, the scope for the growth of the movement is really so far-reaching. There is so much that the movement can do. In terms of, because of our, not only our number of members, but also because of the asset base, we can show up St. Lucia financially. We can be that force that when should things become difficult, we make it easier. And I am particularly reminded of last year when the pandemic came on and we had talk with government talking about payment in bonds and so forth. We as the credit union movement, we came together, sat with the director of finance, and we as the credit union, we bought these bonds to allow government to continue to pay its staff, because these very staff are some of our members. And so really and truly, while, yes, we assisted the state, yes, we assisted the government, but more particularly, we assisted our members. So our members would not be inconvenienced. So I'm saying, as we continue to grow credit unions, we can be that lightning rod that creates some kind of awareness that speaks to things that matter in St. Lucia. Whether it is that we going to, let's say, take care of, let's say, a park, whether it is we look at an area that should be under protection while we have the National Trust and so forth, but we can speak to a lot of issues, because in our mandate, we are looking at the Millennium Development Goals. We are looking at the cooperative principles, the importance of education, the value of women in terms of financial inclusion. We're looking at the value of the elderly, the value of the young. So because we are covering all of these issues, we can speak. That's our movement. In terms of St. Lucia Workers Credit Union, we have come from very humble beginnings. We started out of a briefcase with a few members contributing with about $1,000 and something in the bank. And now we're well over tens of millions. I can see us continuing to grow and develop, but my vision for our organization is that we be the dynamic, on the cusp of technology, really moving, engaging, exciting the space. So if we were at a party, I would like very much, in terms of all the credit unions at a party, I would like St. Lucia Workers Credit Union to be the party starter. In terms of dynamic ideas, innovation, and really creating some degree of excitement. That's the personality I would like us to embody.
Yeah, because and it speaks a lot about Peter's own personality.
I know, right?
You see how well of a storyteller he is. Every time he would come to have to talk to us about the cocktail, you see, smooth. How smooth.
Well, the cocktail. No, but it is one.
It have me. I ain't gonna lie. It have me.
Well, like I told you, I did give you the phone number. You can speak to our general manager, and we can see what can happen. I'm just saying.
Speaking of the size of the credit union, growth of the credit union, as much as there's room to grow, I can imagine to keep the personal touch that you speak about, that one-on-one with the members, is a cap or a certain size that you may need to remain to be able to keep that personal touch?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. In terms of size to remain, not necessarily. While under other business models, persons would tell you, you reach economies of scale, and they would use all of these technical terms and so forth, and so you could balance off your demand and supply at a particular point and get to your equilibrium. I'm not an economist, it's not my role, but what I do know is that if we are people-centric, and we are people helping people, serving the community, then there should be no reason for exclusion. We have seen several people who were once unbankable get into situations where their children are now doctors, their children are lawyers, they are engineers, accountants, and so forth, contributing positively to the society. These people started off as vendors. And with an organization like a credit union, they were embraced and brought in and made to feel that they matter.
That they matter.
And so consequently, they were able to develop themselves and raise up a group of children who are now contributing positively to our country. And so for us, we are happy. Every one person that we can assist, we are happy about that. And we will continue to push. And for all those who feel that we are a place that they can call home and be comfortable in, our arms are open.
Yes. And you say that piece and it brought back some fond memories for myself. Talk about the unbankable, and you mentioned the vendor. My grandmother was a vendor. I went around selling with her, icicles during carnival and so forth. So I understand that very principle. And she was that's why I'm always a spectator, never, a regular. Just because, from young, I had to be there getting the job done, and I would peek, and see what was really going on. Always the businesswoman. But you're right. And so my grandmother was a member of a credit union. And had she not had that support, having to send her children to school, myself being raised in the household, and so forth. So it really did give her that sense of that. The dollar that she earned, it mattered. Indeed. And that she could have taken that and placed it somewhere and see it grow more. So but that's a very, very important point.
But I'd like to share something, and thank you so much for that, Lisa, because it does speak to our ethos and what we're about. But I personally, as a young professional, when I was younger, and I had initially joined the credit union, the idea of going off to study was something that was very much hot in my mind and on my heart. And it is because of the credit union, through every semester being able to top up my loan, pay my fees, continue paying the loan, study, I was able to get my degree. And so for me, it is very gratifying that I can, as the president, sit and push this organization because it has given to me. I'm raised in a community. I'm raised in the community. I born and raised Marshall, Grass Street area, and so forth. And so many of the people whom I grew up with, my contemporaries, the elderly persons, they are members of that credit union. So for me, it is a unique privilege to be able to be part of an organization which is contributing positively to their lives, because I myself, I have benefited. And so that is why I encourage young people, if you are looking to learn, if you have the time, effort, and energy to volunteer, that it is one of the places that you should turn to, because you will come out a much better person at the end of the spectrum.
The credit union movement, the gift that keeps on giving.
Indeed. And we are building financial health for a brighter tomorrow. And I am so very grateful for our organization. And once again, I would like to thank now our employees, all the employees of our 16 credit unions, from the general managers down to the accountants, the HR, the compliance officers, our loans officers, not forgetting our frontline customer service reps and our tellers, to our cleaners and custodians, security and so forth. You all matter. We love you, and on this International Credit Union Day, we say thank you for your service. And the reason why I'm saying that is that, yes, even if we pay our staff, we thank them for their service because they too are members of the organization, and they too exude that personal touch, that this family environment that we are growing.
Everyone matters.
Indeed. No man left behind.
No one is going to be left behind. Certainly not with feet and the cocktail. So what we'll do now is take a quick break when we'll be back with our closing moments.
Do you know we can limit the spread of the COVID-19 virus? The Ministry of Health is your partner in achieving this solution. Introducing the Amber Wristwatch. The Amber Wristwatch is designed for monitoring daily movements while in quarantine. It provides an accurate location and a precise heart rate. The device is also waterproof and can be worn during all daily functions, like washing the dishes or taking a shower. It's worn like a typical timepiece. The Ministry of Health can now better monitor people in home quarantine and receive alerts of those who do not stay in the confines of their home. A 14-day rental of the Amber Wristwatch is just $75 US. Let us stop the breaches of home quarantine.
Okay, welcome back. Let me share some information with you on the 14th annual St. Lucia Taiwan Partnership Trade Show. And it's been held under the theme Propelling Business Development Through Technology. And this year, the Ministry of Commerce, Manufacturing, Business Development, Cooperatives, and Consumer Affairs, in partnership with the Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan, will host the 14th annual St. Lucia Taiwan Trade Partnership Trade Show. That's going to be held at the Grocery Human Resource Development Center from November 26th to the 27th. And they're promising that it's going to be like none other. It will not take place not only at the physical location, but it will also be virtually, and that's going to allow for a wider international trading community to participate, to be able to view the quality and authentic goods and services that's being made in St. Lucia and Taiwan. And also want to tell you that the government is continuing to institute policies to help rebuild the economy and strengthen the resilience in the wake of the pandemic. So it is important that the businesses, St. Lucian businesses, are given avenues to expose their goods and services to potential buyers. The buyers from Taiwan and from the wider international community. So the Ministry of Commerce is inviting manufacturers and service providers. You want to benefit from that, and you want to participate in the trade show, you are to complete a registration form, and you could get that form on www.commerce.gov.lc. That website again is www.commerce.gov.lc. The registration form so that you can participate in the annual St. Lucia Taiwan Trade Partnership Show. And all applications, there's a deadline. You must send it in before October 25th, 2021. So here's hoping that you start clicking away and make sure that you can participate. October 25th?
October 25th.
October 25th.
That's the deadline.
That's the deadline. Peter, yeah, we love giggles. On this show, we love to giggle.
I'm pretty fine.
Yeah, and we love having those little subliminal messages between ourselves, But
I just hope that.
But don't worry, you safe. Tell us what's happening to us weather-wise as we say goodbye.
Surely, Lisa, I can do that. Today, winds will be blowing from the east near 23 miles per hour or 37 kilometers per hour with a few gusts. The weather today is expected to be partly cloudy, hazy, and breezy with a few showers today. So if you do not have your protective rain equipment, I mean, you get a pass. You get a pass. Today. Seas at the tides at the Castries Harbor, low at 9:31 a.m., high at 3:43 p.m. And at VA4 Bay, they're going to be low at 10:58 a.m. and that's low at 10:58 a.m. and high at 4:50 5:50 p.m. Seas are moderate to locally rough today with waves and northerly to northeasterly swells 5 to 8 feet. So small craft operators, sea bathers, you are advised to exercise caution due to reduced visibility and locally rough seas. What does the tropics look like, Lisa?
Yeah, and speaking about the visibility, the reduction of that, a plume of Saharan dust. We don't like to have it around, but it's good for us because it's keeping all those storms away. It's going to affect the air quality and visibility over the Eastern Caribbean region, including St. Lucia, for the next couple of days. So, for those of you with respiratory ailments, dust allergies, please take the necessary precautions. And, wearing the mask really does come in handy. Yes, it helps a whole lot. Now, tropical-wise, we have the Atlantic high-pressure system that's generating brisk winds above normal seas around the Eastern Caribbean region. Also, tropical wave over the central tropical Atlantic, that's moving westward at near 17 miles per hour. And a tropical cyclone formation for that is not expected during the next 5 days. So, yet again, we're getting a pass, which is good, moving closer towards November.
Yes.
But we need to get over October 25th, the deadline for the registration.
Deadline, yes.
Yes, October 25th.
That's Monday, by the way.
It's Monday. It's Monday.
It's for the Taiwan Trade Show.
Yes, for the Taiwan Trade Show.
See,
Peter is catching
up. Look at that.
We need to have you here more often, Peter. Yes. So, we want to say thank you so much for joining us this morning for our conversation on the morning update. Lisa Joseph alongside Homer DeMark, Peter Lewis. Thank you so much for being our guest. And we'll be seeing you next time.